Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about parallelogram. Parallelograms. Okay, now parallelograms are an interesting little fella because we've already talked about if we have a parallelogram, let's say this is 12, and let's say the height is given and it's 6. Oh, okay, well that's easy. Area equals base times height. Area equals 6 times 12, and if I'm not mistaken, that's 72. Okay, pretty easy. However, what if we don't have that? What if I have 6's over here? This is 12, but now this is 30 degrees. Well, if that's 30 degrees, what I need to do is I need to figure out how tall is this piece. Well, the nice thing is if that's 30 degrees, what I end up with is I end up with a 30 and a 90 and a 6. And all I need to do is find the y, or I guess it'd be better off if we called it h in this case. But that's not too bad because I could draw a 30, 60, 90. I got a 30 here. That's a 1. That's a 2. That's a root 3. And so I say 6 goes with 2 as h goes with 1. Brr, 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 brr. H equals 3. And now, do I have the base and the height? I do, in fact. So I simply say area equals 3 times 12. Very good. Okay, but now let's do something a little bit more challenging. Let's do another parallelogram, but let's make this angle 25 degrees, and this is a 4, and this is a 20. Okay, so I have something like this. In this case, I cannot use my special triangles. So this would be if I'm given the height. This is special triangles. This is any angle. There we go. Okay. So in this case, for any angle, I can still chop this off and find a height. I still have this triangle right here. It says 25 and a 4. And I still have an H because I have a 90-degree angle here. But now I have opposite and I have hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse mean I'm going to use what? Oh, well, that makes sense. We're going to use sine of 25 equals h over 4. Cross multiply both sides here by 4. And I simply take sine 25, enter, times 4. Bam. Answer is 1.69047 equals h. And now I have my height 1.7-ish, and I'm able to say area equals 1.7 times 20. 1.7 times 20. There you go. And if I leave all my numbers in the calculator, it really helps because then I can say, oh, look at all this, and I can round it to whatever I need to round it to. Now, so that's how we can use trig to find the height. And then I can find the height and the base, and that's the area. Same thing would happen with a lot of these guys. Same thing would happen with a lot of these. Now, let's do something like this. What if you have a parallelogram, and this is 110 degrees, that's a 5, and that's an 8. Okay, the problem is, if I try to drop an altitude right here, that's going to be a problem because that's not part of this big triangle. But here's the thing. We know that if these lines are parallel, just like these in a parallelogram, that's the whole point. And if we know this is 110, what is this angle right here? Well, it's 70 because we know these two angles have to add up to 180. Or you could say, well, if that's 110, this is 110, which means the whole thing's 180. You got a 110, you got a 70. So now I have a 70. So it's just simply one extra step to find that angle. Now I can find the height because I have 70 and a right angle and a 5 and an H. And again, I got opposite. I got opposite and hypotenuse. So I'd say sine of 70 equals opposite. Don't know it, but I do know hypotenuse is 5. There we go. So cross multiply and go from there. Go ahead, find me the area of this parallelogram if my new height can be found here. So it's simply base, which is 8 times whatever this height is, and then give me the answer. All right, so that works for rhombus. It also works for parallelogram. And in fact, guys, it also works for triangles. If I have this, I got a 12, and I got a, I don't know, 5 over here, and this is 24 degrees. Can I drop an altitude right there? And if I do, now I have this triangle right here where I have the height, and I have the 5, and I have the 25. So we'll call that y just so you don't get confuzzled. And so can I find, again, sine of 25 equals y over 5. Y equals, and that's going to be 5 times sine 25. Answer is 2.1130, etc., etc., etc. And so now I can say one area equals 1/2 base times height, and I can find that area. So it works for triangles just as well. All right, with that in mind, that's where we got.